It's a great day for Firehawk motor racing.
Thanks, Jackie, and welcome to the 7th and final round of the Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship for 91. I'm Jim Martin with Tom Natu.
Thanks, Jim. We're at Mosport Park for Thanksgiving weekend in the Firestone GM Motorsport Nationals. Last race, our television crew lost one of their Sony Handycams to this spectacular crash.
But undaunted, Sony came through.
Jim, Sony nicknamed this series of Handycams the Traveler Series. We didn't quite know what you guys had in mind to do with them, but I think it's a good testament to the durability and the service that we've got available on the product. This is the same camera we saw last week. It's ready to roll.
Boy, it's a it's a testament and a half, I'll tell you. Thanks a lot, Bob. With the same Sony Handycam that got destroyed over there in corner number 1, and we're going to put it back on the fence. Thanks again, Bob.
Good race.
When high performance is important, the Dynamax Super Turbo Muffler is the answer. Dynamax with patented flow directors that route exhaust through with less turbulence and faster flow means more go. Dynamax Super Turbo Mufflers are now available in direct fit systems for popular North American performance cars. Now at leading automotive shops everywhere. Get the most from your performance vehicle with a Dynamax Super Turbo Muffler and direct fit system. Bolt-on horsepower.
Tuned machines are revving high and carving the inside line on the icy ovals of the Formula One snowmobile circuit. TSN takes you to Beausejour, Manitoba for the Manitoba Challenge. Tuesday, 6 Eastern on Real TV, TSN.
We're under green at Mosport for the final Firestone Firehawk race of this season. Tom, look at the size of this field.
50 cars to grind it out here one more time at Mosport.
I thought that with the 2 class championships, Grand Sport and Sports all wrapped up before this event, the field might have been a little smaller today.
Jim, these are Firehawk competitors and they want to race. Many are looking for sponsorship for next year.
Now, as we look through the pack in corner 1, some of these guys are getting loose on the first lap.
Like the hood latch on Ron Clark's car, here's Mario Valet wide in turn 1 at our camera.
And they're going after the camera on the fence in 1 again. Let's look over the shoulder of Ron Guidlin in the Snickers Volkswagen Corrado and see how this happened. Ed Nye with the Walker Dynamax High Performance Exhaust System people is with us today. And what can you tell us about the system? There's a good number of our Firestone Firehawk competitors that use the system. Could you tell us about why?
Well, the system itself is a low back pressure, high performance exhaust system developed for high performance cars. And it does increase the performance of the vehicle. That's why you see many of the racing teams running the Dynamax High Performance Exhaust System.
As far as the experience that Walker has had with racing cars, your people's history with the Firestone Firehawk series goes back a way.
Dynamax has been involved with the Firehawk series in North America, specifically first in the United States, and now in Canada for 4 or 5 years now, yeah.
As far as the high-performance exhaust system that you're using on the Nissan behind us here today, and many of the other competitors, this system actually increases horsepower, and it's just a matter of bolting it on. Is that right?
That's correct. The systems are designed for specific applications to bolt right on the cars. Of course, there are some cars where we have to develop custom-made exhaust systems. However, that's easy to do for any good mechanic or any good tube-working craftsman.
As far as the Walker Dynamax system, it's used on a good number of the endurance racing competitors, and it's very important for more than just a few more horsepower.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We found that the competitors really like the quieter car, especially in endurance racing. As you can appreciate, noise is a very fatiguing factor in a race, and the system does eliminate a lot of that.
And it also makes good neighbors for the track owners and that sort of thing as well. Thanks a lot, Ed. Ed Nye from the Walker Dynamax High Performance Exhaust System, people. We rejoin our race at the outside of corner number 2. Jay Maloney's HMV Eagle Talon hard into the tire wall down at the bottom. And JVC Camaro of Ron Clark is into the tire wall as well.
Ron Clark hits hard enough to get the rear wheels right off the ground. He appeared to go straight off the track at the top of turn 2.
Now, while we're under yellow, let's join Stéphane Veilleux. He's a little further back in the pack as he approaches that same spot as he crests the top of turn number 2 here.
Stéphane is trying to make up time, and Stéphane is going to go straight off at the same spot.
The same place as Maloney and Clark.
He gathers up his spin well, though, and he's going to rejoin the race just as quickly as he can get over this grass.
For Stéphane's sake, I hope so. It's going to be interesting to know how Stéphane is going to explain to Andre Godet, the team manager, how he managed to lose 2 places on the track during a yellow.
Well, he still has a lot of catching up to do as we go back to green, Jim.
Along the pit straightaway, we catch up to our race leaders. Camaros are 1, 2, and 3. John Cadman Jr., the TerraStar Camaro, holding off Rob Fellows in the number 91 machine and the 67 Atlantis-sponsored Camaro of Mark Schill.
Tony McGrath now in the Birchmount Collision RX-7. And here comes Ludwig Heinrath in the Q107 Porsche.
Now through turn number 1, we see the clearly Canadian Ols Kelly of Gary Magwood leading in the sport category, and we see Ed DeLong help the Guilin Corrado through the corner.
And trying to stick his nose in somewhere was Günther Schmidt in the number 38 car. He still has a chance to top the Touring Championship.
The number 9, John Cadman Jr. Camaro's been so close most of the season, but they've had the worst luck.
The Robinson Racing crew started out very strong this season with a pair of second-place finishes in Shannonville and Montreal. Then disaster struck, and it took them out of contention for this year's championship.
Not out of contention so far in this race as we watch our leaders up out of 4 into turn number 5.
You know, the number 67 Schill Camaro had the same sort of story, with 4 top 10 finishes at the beginning of the season, but tough breaks at Montreal in the 24-hour event eventually hurt the championship hopes.
Once again, we pick up the race leaders coming out of 9-10 onto the front straightaway. The number 9 TerraStar Camaro just seems a little too quick for 91 or 67 to catch him today.
And they're showing that winning style that made them the Grand Sports champions 1 year ago.
As we see them go into the top of corner number 1, it's a Camaro 1, 2, 3 in Grand Sport so far.
It's one of the first times this season that there's not a Porsche in the top 3.
Well, maybe not yet. Ludwig Heinrath looking very strong in the 07 Porsche as we see him not that far off the leader's pace.
The number 3 Mazda RX-7 of McGrath is still running hot in sports. These guys have been in contention all year long and ran up as high as 2nd at the Trans Am race here at Mosport.
It's good to see the Escort is back in the hunt in touring after that first lap incident. Now from the top of 2, we watch the field go through. Boy, Tom, look at this weather. I don't remember a Thanksgiving weekend as nice as this one here at Mosport in quite a while.
The entire Firestone Firehawk season has been incredible all year long. The only rain we've seen has been during the 24-hour, and that was just for a short time.
As we look down on our Grand Sport 91 champion, the number 2 Motoplan BASF Xerox Porsche 944, he's off at the top of turn number 3.
Raymond David trying to get by some back markers, and he loses it, slides right through the sand trap intended to stop him there, and gets right back underway. Nice drive.
Now our STP Hot Lap feature this week, featuring our Most Improved Driver of the Year award champion, Victor Sifton in the 97 Kanaska Camaro.
Approaching corner 1, I'll hit the brakes just quick enough so that I can settle the car down to follow through in corner 1. Let the car drift out to the left, bring it back across to the right side, tap the brakes quickly right here, and hold the car steadily through corner 2. It's important not to go to the outside, otherwise you will get lost in the marbles and wipe out. Now, here you should be flat throttle, over to the left, quick brake for 3, down to 3rd gear, and steady and soft through corner 3. Right about here you will go full throttle, let it drift out to the left side, and quick glance in your mirrors to see if anybody's on your left or right. Lift, and then settle back the car down, and then you're through 4. Coming in the 5A, shift down to 3rd, hit the apex, lift off the accelerator, quick shift to 2nd, wait till the car straightens out, back onto the accelerator, up in the 3rd gear. It's also important to remember when you're coming out of corner 5B, as we are in the number 97 Highland Chevrolet Cadillac Camaro, that especially in a Camaro, you have to keep the car straight before you hard accelerate, because you will get rear wheel spin. That is a common trait of a Camaro. Now, as we we're approaching corner 8 now, and we'll give a quick glance in the mirrors. One thing that we try to do here, because the Camaro is so much slower in the corner, I guess you could say, is we'll try to brake a lot deeper going into 8, and not so much 9 or 10, but in order to do that, we make up a lot of length on cars. And here we are going through corner 10, clip the apex, not too hard, because then you'll shoot out to the left side, and it's a prime spot to get passed by any other cars. You can see how much distance we have made up on the car in front of us by now.
Thank you very much, Victor Sifton, our Firestone Firehawk Most Improved Driver of the Year award winner, and we see why as he picks up some of the back markers, getting by Greg Clifton at the entrance to turn number 2 here, about to chase down Steve Mulvey as we head up toward turn number 3. And Victor carries a lot of speed up into 3, moves to the inside of the Texaco Havlin Camaro, and takes over another position. Now down into turn number 5, we see the 07 of Ludwig Heinrath, keeping up the earlier pace in the 63 Eagle Talent of Mark Monmini, already champion in sport class, but you'd never know it by the way they're driving here today. Now up into 5, the Birchmont Collision Mazda. Here comes the Kanaska Camaro, the 2 back markers that he got by a little earlier on, and now a couple more Camaros as the field begins to stretch out a little bit.
Richard Monroe gets loose in 5, and oh, he's in the wall.
Hit the wall so hard you could see the camera shake. The ground moved underneath our camera position there. Coolant pouring out from the front of that car. He's done a lot of damage.
Richard seemed to leave his braking too late, almost to the very end, and then when it counted, he didn't lock them up. He let off the brake to try to catch the car. It didn't work, Jim.
Richard's okay, but unfortunately we can't say the same thing about the CanCon advertising Mazda up against the wall in turn number 5. Once again, the pace car's out. We're under a full course yellow. We'll be back with Firestone Firehawk racing in a moment.
Psst. Firehawk GTX radials outperform the competition. Firehawk GTX radials give the quietest ride. Firestone, performance you can trust.
If you don't like the looks of your car, shoot it. With son of a gun protected from STP. If your dash looks dull, shoot it. Your seats are shot, shoot them. Your tires look flat, heck, shoot them too. Don't leave your roof a wreck. Give it some luster. Give your car high caliber protection. With son of a gun from STP. Son of a gun, what a difference.
There are two kinds of people in the world. Those who want to know.
Harvey, these light-to-light dinners give us their cholesterol and fat levels.
And those who don't.
Delicious.
To those who want to know.
It's right here on the front.
Light to Light puts it out front.
Where we can see them.
For those who don't want to know. Light to Light simply tastes better than ever. McCain Light to Light. The information's on the outside. The taste is on the inside.
And now we find a new overall race leader, the 07 Porsche of Ludwig Heimrath. We're back to green flag racing at the Firestone GM Motorsport Nationals at Mosport Park. We've had pit stops, driver changes, and fueling under the yellow, and it's mixed up the field and let the Heimrath Kenwood Q107 Porsche emerge the leader. The Porsche 944s are now first, second, and third. Ludwig in the 07 Porsche now into turn number 5 is driving like the wind. He looks unbeatable already after 5 corners. He's got a sizable lead over second and third place.
And there we see the interval, Jim. I think Rick Bye has other ideas.
Closely behind Rick is his teammate in the number 7 Porsche.
Now we look further back in Grand Sports, see the 97 Camaro again, one of the Bert and Ernie's cars, and the number 91 Lee Strand Camaro, just getting a little loose there, gathering it back up and scooting back up the straightaway.
As we watch the balance of our field wind through corner number 5, here comes the 88 Dicom GTI that's got a real shot at the Firestone Firehawk Touring Class Championship this year. Let's take a look from the inside of the Guidolin Corrado at Peter Overing's line through corner number 5. Locks up a wheel on the inside at 5A. Now to 5C, Poetry in Motion. The Corrado is a sport class vehicle, but he's having a tough time getting by that GTI.
All the battles aren't with the race leaders in each class as we look at this fight between the Dave Innes sports class Dodge Daytona and the touring class number 55 Nissan NX2000 of Richard Laporte.
Now we look at 2, and the 57 Highland Motorsport Eagle Talon doesn't even start to make the curve into the tire wall.
And Jamison hits the wall hard.
Neil Jamison seems to be all right. Takes a moment to gather his thoughts a little bit.
And there we see one of the advantages of the all-wheel drive Talons. If you end up on a wall, you simply back off.
Sean Hyland was telling us earlier this year he was campaigning the all-wheel drive Talon to take advantage of inclement weather conditions. I'll bet he didn't consider how well it would work peeling itself off tire walls.
I guess not. Now at the bottom of turn 4 and up into turn 5, our sports class leader, the clearly Canadian Olds Calais, driven by Martin Shenhall.
He's really cooking. Along the start-finish line now, we see the battle continue between the GTI and Corrado. There's the Commercial Motorsport teammates and the Porsche 944 S2s, a BMW in between. And the battle-scarred Ford Escort GT is continuing along as well.
Now we see the 57 Highland Motorsport Talon rejoining the race with a little more 100-mile-an-hour tape holding the front of that car together.
The number 8 Olds Calais now sporting a little competitor's paint as well, making best use of some clear track in front of him into turn number 3. Now underneath the Players Bridge down through corner number 4, some of the back markers coming our way up into corner number 5. The Snickers Volkswagen Corrado has finally gotten by the GTI. Here's our race leader, the Q107 Porsche. As well, the touring class leader gets passed on the inside. The number 22 CRX gets a lap back from the Dicom GTI.
And just ahead of that pass, there was some action in 5B. Let's pick it up while we get on board the Snickers VW Corrado of the brothers Guidlin. Here we see the BMW trying to take the inside line, and he drives right into the door of Fran Broadfoot.
Fran now has to get the Nissan squared away and wait for a break in the traffic so that he can rejoin the race. And as he waits, he watches the 91 Lease Trend Camaro sitting in 4th place, the number 9 TerraStar Camaro in 5th, and the 19 Denon Porsche, with Ron Fellows aboard, moving rapidly up the charts. Now back to the pit straight away. We see Drew Hussar in the BASF Xerox Porsche 944 S2. That's a commercial motorsport team, currently sitting 3rd place overall. Immediately behind Drew on the track is the number 63 Eagle Talon with Jackie Lowell, and he's off the track in turn number 2, backwards through the grass. And he hit the wall really hard. Did you see the glass pop out of the back of that car?
The gas tank has ruptured. Al Lewell is in the car. There's a firefighter standing by, and the marshal is doing his best to get Jackie out of that car.
He's got to get out of there as quickly as they can, just in case there is some kind of fire. From what we understand, there's gasoline pouring out from underneath that machine. There's no way Jackie can get out of there on his own. That looks like quite a chore just to get out, and they're not going to hang around.
The last thing anybody wants is to be near that Talon in case that gasoline goes up.
And the Jackie Lowell crash has brought out another full-course yellow here at Mosport. We understand that Jackie is okay.
Jim, this race has seen some very unusual events. What is with the top of 2? It seems like 3 or 4 cars have all gone off there and crashed hard.
We've seen great battles every weekend, but to be honest, I was kind of wondering about the race here today. We've had 2 of our 3 class championships already wrapped up before the green flag, and I was thinking some people might take it just a little bit easy, but that has not been the case at all. Once again, we've had great battles all day long. Our race leader, Ludwig Heimrath, coming down the front straightaway as the pace car pulls off. And Tom, it's been a great season for the racers, the teams, and the sponsors too.
Firehawk has become a prime advertising vehicle for so many different kinds of sponsors. International, national, and even local firms have found Firehawk cars a great way to get the message out to their customers. Now, Firehawk Racing is for showroom stock cars. We have 3 different kinds of classes, and the thing that makes Firehawk Racing so relevant is that everybody watching here at the track and at home on TV can relate to these cars. They're not that different than the ones that are parked in everybody's driveway.
It's a great series, and we're about to conclude it. We've got a green flag once again. We're back under race conditions at the Firestone GM Motorsport Nationals at Mosport.
And once again, after a full course yellow, the field is completely bunched up, which always makes for interesting racing. Sports class cars tangled up with Grand Sports cars, and touring class cars running up as high as 5th and 6th place. It's an amazing battle as we watch the number 88 Team Dicom car leading in touring class.
Continuing to lead in the sport category, it's the number 8, clearly Canadian Olds Calais, Marty Shinhall behind the wheel down through turn number 1. And we follow the number 4, the Texaco Haviland Camaro of Mike Hart, as he unwinds the car through the bottom of turn number 1, down the short chute, and cresting the hill at the top of 2. Under the bridge at 4 and up into turn number 5, we see a small group of Camaros leading another battle that's developing out on the course between the 14 Honda CRX and the number 29 Volkswagen Jetta again.
A great battle shaping up in sports class. Those are the 2nd and 3rd place cars. The Bud Street Peterborough Dodge Daytona and the Birchmount Collision RX-7 of David Boyle.
From the other end of the pit straightaway into corner number 1, the number 7 Xerox BASF Porsche of Drew Hussar.
They're running in 3rd place in Grand Sports, and they've run as high as 2nd place today.
A couple of our other competitors having good steady drives today include the number 16 Camaro of Jim Hold'em and the 97 David Empringham Camaro, cresting the top of the hill and down into 2 now.
Back to turn 1 with the Sunpack Jetta working on the CRX. He gets by. That's Chris Pfaff getting by Bruce Petroff in turn 1.
We catch up to the race leader, Ludwig Heimrath, in the Q107 Porsche down through corner number 2. Second place is the BASF number 2 machine. The hard-charging Denon Porsche's right on the tail of the Xerox number 7 car as well. And there's a Camaro off at the top of 2.
Terry Betts in the TerraStar Camaro hits the tire wall hard and is on his roof.
He didn't even start to make that corner and slid right into the grass.
Where the brakes don't work at all, it was everything Terry could do to throw that car sideways before he hit.
Now up into corner number 5, our sport class leader, Marty Schenhall. A number of back markers go by. They're just in front of second and third place in the sport category. Here they come now, the battle between the Dodge Daytona just passing us by, the Mazda third in sport, and our overall race leader, Ludwig Heimrath.
Now we go up into turn 10, and it's the 88 Dicom car way out in front of touring class with Martin Schenhall way out in front of the rest of the sports class.
What a tribute to this series as we have Canadian motorsport veterans over 50 years of age leading both the Grand Sport and Sport classes. Ludwig Heimrath, our overall race leader in the Q107 Porsche. We pick up the Dodge Mazda battle in the bottom of turn number 2 and into 3, and boy, was that close. 4 cars abreast there.
David Boyle had to drop a wheel off the right side of the track to avoid hitting the number 42 Mazda RX-7 of Team Shogun. The battle continues now into 5B.
The number 3 Mazda's pushing him so hard that the Dodge Daytona locks up a wheel. Now at the front side of the circuit, we rejoin our race leader, Ludwig Heimrath, as he's looking for a way around the battle in touring. He looks to the inside and gets by the Pfaff Jetta down the front straight.
Looking up into turn 1 now, we see Kat Teasdale with the hammer down in the JVC high-end Zell's Camaro. She's taken the car over from Ron Clark and is really pushing now.
Right in behind her is the Bud Street Dodge Daytona David Boyle Mazda RX-7 battle. Our Grand Sport leader up into turn number 3 now. Just in front of the Jetta and the Honda, and now out of nowhere is the number 19 Denon Porsche of Ron Fellows.
That car was in the lead for the first part of the race, then fell off the pace during the pit stops in the yellows. Now with Ron Fellows behind the wheel, they're making a hard charge for the front.
What a season the Denon team have had. The first race at Shannonville was all sewn up until a wheel bearing went bad and eventually a wheel fell off. A great drive by Richard Spinard in Montreal. A solid effort by Ron Fellows for the team at the Can-Am reunion weekend here at Mosport. A spectacular drive by David Tennyson in the Meadowlands, and then more bad luck with the 24-hour and the Trans Am events not quite turning out the way they wanted.
And here's one guy whose luck today has been all good. Martin Schenhall, our sports class leader, powering through 5.
And now, proving that he was as good as his word earlier on today about winning this race, our Grand Sport leader and overall winner today, Ludwig Heimrath in the Q107 Kenwood Porsche 944 S2 takes the checkered flag.
And for the first time in 1991, Ludwig Heimrath atop the winner board in the Grand Sports class. Second place was Richard Spinard and Ron Fellows in the number 19 Denon Porsche, Rick Bay and Raymond David in the number 2 Motoplan Porsche in third place.
Taking the checkered flag for the first time in the sport category this year was Martin Schenhall and Gary Magwood in the number 8 clearly Canadian Olds Calais. Second place went to the number 3 David Boyle, Tony McGrath, Birchmount Collision, Mazda RX-7, and third place today in the sport class went to Bud Street and Dave Innes in the Peterborough Dodge Chrysler Dodge Daytona number 61.
The Team Dicom car, the 88 Volkswagen GTI of Stéphane Veilleux and Peter Overing, ended up in first place in touring class. Second place was Pierre Desmarais and Richard Laporte in the Walker Dynamax Nissan NX 2000. Third place was Gunter Schmidt and Alistair Ogue in the number 38 car, the Volkswagen Golf GTI.
It's time for the last victory lap of the 1991 Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship as we watch Ludwig Heimrath, Marty Schenhall and Gary Magwood, and Stéphane Veilleux and Peter Overing make their way out of pit lane.
And now let's take a look at our Team Championship class winners.
In the Grand Sport class, quick and steady wins the race as proven by Rick Bay and Raymond David in the Commercial Motorsports Motoplan Porsche 944 S2. They had some great results in the Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship in '91.
7 top 5 finishes, including 3 first place and the all-important one, the 24-hour weekend, August 10th and 11th, which pays triple points. 2 third place finishes, 1 fourth and 1 fifth to wrap up the championship season.
In the Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship Sport category, the Jackie Alul Mark Momini President Stone Dynatech Eagle Talon ran away with the class. Fast and faster was their motto for the year.
Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship Rookie of the Year Jackie Alul teamed up with the veteran Quebec ice racer Mark Momini for a fantasy season. 3 firsts and 3 seconds to finish out the year. What a season for the number 63 President Stone Eagle Talon.
The touring class battle went down to the wire and was finally decided in the 7th event. Stefan Bayou and Peter Overing in the Dicom Volkswagen GTI take home the honors in the Firestone Firehawk touring class.
There's a young man with an incredible future in racing. Stefan Bayou sitting next to his mentor and team manager, Andre Godet. The 88 Dicom car had an incredible season with Stefan and Peter Overing, 1 12th, 1 5th, a 3rd, a 2nd, and 3 first-place finishes to wrap up the Touring Class Championship in the Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship.
Right in black and white. The Firestone Kilometer Guarantee Plan guarantees tire mileage up to 100,000 kilometers. Performance you can trust. Guaranteed in black and white.
Do you want your pizza quick? Or would you really rather have it good and quick? Domino's Pizza. Good and quick and good. Experience the quality of Domino's Pizza.
The love for speed, the thrill of high-powered competition. It all comes together on race day. We've got the fast-paced excitement of Formula 1600 racing as they burn up the track at Shenandoah Raceway. Wednesday, 7:30 Eastern. Race day here on Real TV TSN.
This is Jim Martin.
And Tom Nachu saying thanks to all of the competitors, their sponsors, and all of the people that made the 1991 Firestone Firehawk Endurance Championship such a great success.
It's been great. See you all next year.